Cristiano Ronaldo suffers horror injury in Portugal's thrashing of Czech Republic, with the Man United star's face covered in blood after a clash with keeper Tomas Vaclik. Man United star Cristiano Ronaldo was left covered in blood after a nasty collision with Czech Republic goalkeeper Tomas Vaclik on Saturday night. The Manchester United forward went down in a heap after the mid-air collision in the 13th minute of the Nations League clash. He was left bloodied, bruised and dazed on the turf. Ronaldo required medical treatment on the pitch but later returned with a bandage on his nose, and he was soon back in the thick of the action by conceding a penalty for a handball, although Patrick's kick missed from the spot. The result was largely made in Manchester, as Manchester United players had a direct hand in all 4 goals, including an unlikely brace for Diogo Dalot as he registered his first international goals. Those came either side of a Bruno Fernandes strike as Portugal took complete control of the contest inside an hour, and Liverpool's Diogo Jota capped off the road when he nodded home Cristiano Ronaldo's knockdown in the box late on. Including Bernardo Silva and Ruben Dias, there were 5 Manchester-based players in the starting lineup for Fernando Santos' side, and Dalot was the least likely of those to break the deadlock, having never previously scored for his country. Dalot's second was the pick of the goals as he made the most of being gifted space 25 yards from goal, curling a precise left-footed finish into the bottom corner 7 minutes after the restart. In other news, Erik ten Hag has already completed a key Manchester United task this season. The Man United manager has enjoyed a strong start to life at Old Trafford following his appointment. In some respects, it is difficult to recognize this Manchester United side when you consider the one that ended the 2021-22 campaign. Erik ten Hag watched on from the stands as United slumped to a 1-0 defeat at Crystal Palace on the last day of the season. The starting lineup at Selhurst Park that day has changed dramatically in the months that have followed. Plenty of the old guard who experienced disappointment after disappointment since the retirement of Sir Alex Ferguson have now left the theatre of dreams, along with Ralf Rangnick, whose meek managerial style scuppered any chance of him taking up an advisory role for the 2022-23 campaign. As his first port of call, ten Hag set to work building a backroom team that he trusted, and the results are beginning to show. Of course, it has not all been sunshine and rainbows in the 4 months since his first press conference at Old Trafford. Difficulties in the summer transfer window led to ten Hag abandoning his top transfer target, Frankie de Jong, while fan anger at the Glazers' ownership continued. The picture became bleaker following the defeat to Brighton and the abomination that was the loss at Brentford. United looked like they were at their lowest ebb, so what has followed has been a hugely welcome surprise. 4 straight Premier League victories, including wins against Liverpool and Arsenal, have boosted morale among the squad, while new signings and partnerships have started to flourish. Rafael Varane and Lisandro Martinez are dependable in the center of defense. Christian Eriksen is pulling the strings in the De Jong role, and Marcus Rashford has begun to rediscover his goal-scoring form, which deserted him under the previous regime. Going into this international break, there was a sense of calm surrounding United. It is national media headlines are focusing on other problem clubs like Liverpool, Leicester City, and Chelsea. United, meanwhile, are bubbling under the surface, quietly content with how the season has turned in their favor. Ten Hag's job is by no means done. Resentment towards the board remains, and true harmony between the club and the fans will not exist until the Glazers leave. Manchester supporters are no longer at odds with their players, and it feels as though there is genuine unity between themselves and ten Hag's men. The Dutchman deserves all the praise for steadying the ship at the theatre of dreams so exquisitely. Where United are come may will be the biggest factor when determining whether ten Hag has been a success in his first season, but if he continues on this path with the Reds, the future will look bright for this football club. If you enjoyed, national media headlines are focusing on other problem clubs like Liverpool, Leicester City and Chelsea. United, meanwhile, are bubbling under the surface, quietly content with how the season has turned in their favor. Ten Hag's job is by no means done. Resentment towards the board remains, and true harmony between the club and the fans will not exist until the Glazers leave Manchester. Supporters are no longer at odds with their players, and it feels as though there is genuine unity between themselves and ten Hag's men. The Dutchman deserves all the praise for steadying the ship at the theatre of dreams so exquisitely. Where United are come may will be the biggest factor when determining whether ten Hag has been a success in his first season. But if he continues on this path with the Reds, the future will look bright for this football club. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to drop a like and make sure to subscribe to Man United Hub to get all the latest updates.